Well, here in Spain, we're joined by Cathal Rochford from Blevins. How are you doing, Cathal?
Hello, Howard. Yes, I'm keeping very well, thank you. What about yourself? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. During these weekly discussions, we often talk about the benefits of living in Spain and encourage people to move here. But while some of us cannot imagine returning to the UK, and of course many people do eventually, this may be often one spouse has died, or you want to be closer to the family when you get older, or for many other reasons. So over the next 2 weeks, Cathal Rochford will share his advice on how to plan a tax-efficient return to the UK and the importance of timing and strategic planning. Well, Chris and Brett always advise people to review and adjust our financial planning when moving from the UK to Spain, and I presume this applies for the opposite journey too.
Yes, that's correct. If you are returning to the UK after being resident overseas, or expect to do so in the future, early and extensive planning will help make your move as seamless and as tax efficient as possible. We understand there are many reasons why you may be considering a return to the UK. It could be part of your retirement plan, or you could find that circumstances such as family requirements, ill health, or the death of a spouse unexpectedly draws you back home. Whatever the reasons, once you realise you need to move back, it is important to give yourself enough time to review and reorganise your financial affairs. This is not only for your peace of mind, but to ensure the financial implications of your return to the UK work in your favour.
Will timing when you make your move make any difference?
Yes, Howard, before you move back, it is generally best to allow enough time. I would usually suggest at least a year to review and adjust all of your wealth planning and set up new arrangements if necessary. The more time you have for advanced planning, the better. It is better to plan your return date around your tax planning rather than the other way around. The UK tax year runs April to April, whereas the Spanish tax year is the calendar year. And you can plan to transition at a time that will minimise your tax liabilities in both countries. There are things that could affect your tax position, such as the sale of your Spanish main home, divesting from Spanish investment assets, and capitalising on cross-border tax planning opportunities, or even where we see from time to time UK temporary non-residence if you're returning to the UK within 5 years of leaving. These planning areas can save a lot of unnecessary tax in both the UK and Spain if planned correctly. Your finances should be designed to suit your personal circumstances and your country of tax residence, which will be the UK. And you may also find additional tax-efficient opportunities in the UK once you regain UK residency.
So when should you buy and sell assets, like property?
Yes, before buying a new home, it is crucial to understand how the local and UK tax rules might restrict or eliminate the availability of main home tax reliefs. When it comes to capital gains tax, it may be much more tax efficient to sell or buy when resident in one country versus the other. Moving from an EU country to a non-EU country may mean you no longer qualify for preferential tax treatment. For example, Spain exempts the main home from capital gains tax if you use the proceeds to buy your new main home. The new home does not need to be in Spain, but it does need to be within the EU or EEA. Also to note, to avoid paying capital gains tax on one's main home in Spain, for example, if you're over 65 years of age, you do have to be a Spanish tax resident at the time of the sale. So timing is very important. It is also worth noting that the UK has increased stamp duty on second homes and investment properties from 3 to 5% since the 31st of October 2024. So if you buy the UK property you intend to live in once you return, while still having your main home abroad, you may pay higher stamp duty rates. So to reiterate, it is best to, generally speaking, to sell your Spanish main home before exiting Spanish tax residency and then buy your UK home after that.
When will people be considered a UK resident for tax purposes?
Yes, you could potentially be considered a UK tax resident before you even leave Spain. And it is important to be aware of the UK statutory residence test and how this applies to you. Even if you've been overseas for many years, you may still have links to the UK that can trigger residency and bring you into UK tax liability much sooner than you think. For example, if you still own a UK property or buy one before moving back, you could become resident before you arrive in the UK. Once you cease to use your foreign property as your main home, you could be seen as a UK tax resident straight away, even if you keep your property in Spain. If you are likely to spend time in the UK preparing for your return, be careful not to accidentally bring forward the date of your UK tax residency status. Residency can be triggered after only 16 days if you have been a non-UK resident for under 3 years. Otherwise, you generally become a tax resident in the UK after 46 days of the tax year, or 30 days if staying in a UK property that is considered to be your main home.
I believe Blevins Franks is participating in a webinar on returning to the UK. Can you give us some details?
Yes, Blevins Franks has organised a live webinar on this subject along with property, currency and mortgage experts. It will answer key questions on returning to the UK, from property, trends, wealth planning to tax implications, mortgage options and currency strategy. Whether you're in the early stages of planning or already exploring your move back, this is a great opportunity to hear directly from specialists in each field. It will be held on Wednesday, the 14th of May at 5 p.m. Spanish time, and you'll find more details and a booking link in the events section of our website, blevinsfranks.com, or through our various social media pages.
What a good idea that is. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Howard. Pleasure as always. I look forward to catching up in a couple of weeks.